like you guys had a banger of a time. Also, fun fact, it's Coach Arista's golden birthday today, the big 2-5. So everybody get on and wish Arista a very happy birthday. Okay? I'm also going to try to be better at answering questions today. There's a little bit more information. I have an amazing videographer in the back. She'll give me a little finger point and let me know there's a question, and I'll get to you as best as possible. So today, I'm going to stand up. She's going to stand up with me. Ready, go. Great job. Okay, so load. Pipe down back there, okay? So load. Okay, we've already gotten past our stance. Step 1. Okay, step 1 of stance. Now we're talking about our load. This is a really important piece of our swing because it sets us up for our timing. It gets our weight transferred back, and it gets us in a nice explosive position to move forward. Okay, so after we get in our nice, I wore my fancy bright shoes for you guys today. Once we get in our nice relaxed stance, okay, back comes off the shoulders, and we're just going to shift our weight back into our back leg. We want to feel that weight on the inside of our back leg, not going too far outside or falling over. And
hi, Kellen.
We want to be nice and balanced. You guys are distracting me, so let's keep it down. Keep the side conversations to a minimum, okay? So in our stance, we started a 50-50 nice and balanced position. Now we're going to be moving to more of a 60-40. So 60% of our weight now is on the back side. We might have a little bit of a lift in our back heel, but we want to feel that weight kind of like on that inside ball of our front foot, okay? Nice and back. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it is a linear movement. We're going to be talking about 2 different parts of our swing throughout all of the 10 steps. So this is still one of our linear movements. Let's see. This, like I said in the beginning, with timing, this is really important for our timing. If we start back in our load too soon, we might be stuck waiting back for the pitcher to start. Or if we start too late, we're rushing everything else. So it's really important when you're working on your load, if you have a pitcher, to start picking spots in the pitcher's windup when you would want to be starting, and that might change per pitcher. If it's a faster pitcher, you might want to start that load back a little bit sooner, or if it's a slower pitcher, you might want to start that a little bit later. Some drills.
You got a nice shoes.
Nice shoes? Thank you. I like these shoes. They're very cozy. I tend to not wear socks with these. Oh, got a question. Real one, live one.
Real live one. Why do we not want to be stuck in the back?
If we get stuck, great question. Great question. If we get stuck back here, what happens a lot, we start diving out at the pitch. Instead of going through all of our steps, we get stuck. We don't have any momentum pushing us back to then drive us forward, right? If we stop back here, we're waiting, and then we end up typically diving out front to go get the ball. So we want to have rhythm, and we want to stay smooth. So that's why we get in that stance and have a nice shift back, and we want to be rhythmic going into the rest of our steps. Really good question. You'll hear me say before we get to the drills, sooner and slower. What I mean by that is we want to get all those things started sooner, but on time, so that we can be slower with all of our other pieces. So we don't ever want to be rushed. That's why it's important to pick a spot in the windup. Okay? Another live one.
One not softball related, but what does your hat say?
This is not an ad. It is Blast Athletics, I believe, or Blast Motion, whatever. It's for that little knobby thing that gives you all the analytics on your knob of your bat. I got it as a gift. It's a nice, very neutral hat that I wear quite a bit. Good question.
Would you rather be too early or too late?
Personally, I would not rather either one, but I would rather be earlier. So if I get started a little bit too early, I feel like we can stay a lot stronger in our legs if we can wait and ride our legs out, right? Just like on lower pitches, okay? If we stay in our legs longer, we can keep our hands up and back longer, and then still getting into a reach and throw position, which we'll talk about later. But I would probably rather be started a little too early than too late, because then we're rushing.
How do you not get jammed on the high and inside pitch?
That is a very advanced question for load, but we'll talk about it. So again, that's a sooner, slower thing, okay? So if we're getting started sooner and slower, okay, we should be on time to those pitches, because on an inside pitch, we want to be catching that a little bit more out in front. Faster pitcher, we're going to have to get there a little bit faster than we would a slower pitcher. But Again, the sooner and slower, the faster, not faster, okay? The more under control but quicker we can get to a pitch, the better, especially on the high and inside, because that's one of the fastest ones we have to get to. Good questions. Wow, guys, you're killing me today. A lot of questions. Keep them coming.
Should our back knee be on top of our back foot?
Our back knee in our load, we want our back knee to be inside of our back foot here. If we get too far out, I don't know if you can see, if we get too far over the top, see how my weight's now shifting a little bit too far back? Again, we want to keep that weight on the inside of our back foot and feel kind of some pressure and some pinching in our back thigh, inside of our back thigh. Wow, killing it.
Alicia Schwader, I don't know if I pronounced that, said miss you guys.
Miss y'all, always.
And then what do my hands do when I load?
When you load. So our hands, once we get them off of our shoulders, we really just want to leave them right where they are, okay? If we start to push our hands too far away, we're going to have to bring them all the way back with us. So if we just get our hands up, right, just barely off of our shoulders, I'm not good at guesstimating inches, but I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. You see, this is about a good spot. So just picking the bat up off our shoulders, nice and relaxed, and as we shift back, if you notice my hands didn't really move. They stayed right where they were. When we, again, as we move forward, we'll start talking about what separation is. And as I start moving my body forward, again, they're not going to move. They're going to stay where they are. So once our hands get set, they're really not going to start moving until we start taking our hands to the ball.
Should we keep our momentum in stance and then go to load and still have momentum?
Could you repeat the question?
Should we keep our momentum in stance and then go to load and still have momentum?
I'm going to interpret the question the best way that I can, and I think I get what you're saying. From our stance, it is nice to have, I like to practice, I know we've worked on like having circles or rhythm before, so as we're kind of just waiting, instead of just standing and not doing much of anything, you can create like a little bit of a bounce to like kind of create some rhythm before, so that way you're not going straight from stationary to pushing back to jumping forward. So I, in my stance, would typically have like a little bit of a rhythm here, and then I would shift back into my load. But once we get to that highest peak of our load, we want to be starting right back to the pitcher. As soon as we start our motion, we don't want to be stopping, because then it gets choppy and we start getting jumpy or getting stuck in positions we don't want to be in. So the more rhythm and flow we can create in our swing, the better. I hope that answers your question.
Where did you play and what was it like to win a national championship?
I'm assuming if you're asking me where I played, you already know that, but I went to Arizona State University. I graduated in 2012. Playing for and winning a national championship was one of the coolest things I've ever done. It's a very cool stage to be on, and I love watching it still. The whole atmosphere just keeps getting better and better. Shout out to the 2011 team. Miss you all very much.
This is a really good question that two people had the same one. So if you're a leadoff batter, any tips for being on time on the first pitch?
Truthfully, I'm going to maybe defer to the person behind the camera who's been a leadoff hitter. What do you have to say about that?
I think watching warm-ups, also being ready to be on, like, get ready before your first at-bat. Also, maybe studying their stats of different pitchers.
A lot of times, at least in college and I think in club ball too, or even high school or otherwise, you know a lot of the people you're playing against, so you have a decent idea. But in college, we had the luxury of watching film and getting an idea of what the pitchers were going to do. So just having an understanding of your pitcher is important, but like Coach Christian in the back said, watching from the beginning, watching their warm-up pitches, again, doing that studying is really important as well.
Who's your favorite softball player?
My favorite softball player now?
Hi, Shauna.
Hi. My favorite softball player now. It's a really deep question because there's a lot of people that I admire and grew up watching. Work ethic wise, I'm going to say Dallas Escobedo. I'm a little bit biased. I love watching her play. Shout out to when she gets to go to the Olympics next year as a pitcher for Team Mexico. She's just a rock star of a human. I was really fortunate to play with her all growing up and in college, so she's pretty great. Good question.
How tight should our grip be on a scale of 1 to 10 during our load?
In the beginning, we want to have a nice and relaxed grip. We talk, again, a lot of these things are fluid and they'll lead into more things as we go. But in order to create whip, we want to have a nice and relaxed grip all the way through until we're really gripping to throw to whip. So scale of 1 to 10, I mean, you don't want it to be limp in your hands, but you don't want to be death gripping it. So safe answer, like a 5 or 6, because as you start going forward, that's when we really get a good handle on our barrel, or our handle.
My kid is having trouble loading, bringing the bat behind their head. What do I tell them to stop?
What do you tell them to stop? We all at Southfield University believe in avoiding the negatives. So the more you can speak in positives, the better. Again, if we can just remember that once our hands are here, we want to just be in linear movements, just forward and back. The more we start to rack, see how my body becomes more rotational, the more that we can just have that linear slide back and forth, at least in these first 1 to 7 steps, the better. But good ways to practice that, getting in line with a wall, or if you're there to help your athlete, you can hold her bat behind her, and as she's moving back and forward, just making sure there's no movement back is what I would suggest.
So I'm going to combine these two. Where should your head be and where should your weight be during your load?
Okay, head, I actually put this in my notes. Thanks for that question. I missed that. We want to keep our head as level as possible through everything. The more we start moving our head, what's happening with our eyes? They're moving a lot. So the more that we can keep our head and our eyes level and straight at our target, or where the ball is coming from, the better. So as we're moving, really the only thing we're doing is sitting back like we would be doing like a side lunge or sitting down. So that's really the only thing we're moving. So our head should stay right where it is throughout your entire swing. If you were to take a pole and drive it through the top of my head, all the way through my swing, my head is probably the one thing, the most important thing we don't want to be moving. Oh, and our weight, sorry. Our weight, like we said in the beginning, we're 50-50 in the beginning, and we really want to start shifting into more of a 60-40. So 60% of that weight is back, and 40% is in that front foot. We don't want to give too much, like I said, because then we're teetering over, and then we're probably going to be diving back in. So we want to stay nice and smooth with our weight transfer.
What should your feet be doing?
Your feet. Glad I wore orange shoes today. Good question. So our feet, as we're sinking back, okay, our back foot, again, we should start feeling the weight on the inside part of our foot as we're driving in. Again, not letting this knee creep too far over. And as we shift back, we're feeling the weight on the ball of our front foot push us back. Our heel might come up just a little bit, but we don't want to be twisting or torquing our hips at all. We just want to be nice, shifting back off of that ball of the inside of our front foot.
Where do you believe is the optimal bat angle when you land your stride foot?
Right here? Is that the question?
I think so.
Well, we don't want to be straight up in the air, and we don't want to have it back. Really, that part I'm not too concerned about, as long as it really isn't straight up in the air or dipping back or behind us. Just a good angle. You guys can see that? I don't know. Just right in this position. You math majors out there, maybe you can use that as a math question later to work on at home.
You got 2 really good job remarks from Audrey and Mary, and then no questions right now.
Thanks, team. So, awesome questions. That was really fun. Keep those coming all the time. I'm just going to cover 3 really quick drills. It's really funny in my notes I meant to write flamingo as a drill, and it just says flaming. So you can call it flaming or you can call it flamingo, your choice. So for this one, you're gonna get, just like when you think about a flamingo, they stand on their one leg, right? So this idea is really just thinking about getting the weight loaded into my back leg. So you'll start tall, sit, and then go through your swing as normal. Again, we haven't covered all the other pieces, but if you know the 10 steps of hitting, if you've gone through them, make sure you're following those. But the really important piece here is that you're just feeling the weight load into your back leg. So again, we're going to be in our stance, nice and tall, load, and then go through your swing. Okay, so that's flamingo. One of my favorites that we do a lot is our jump back. So you'll be in your normal position, and I don't want you to think jump as in gaining air or ground so much as really sitting back into the back leg, getting in that same position as you would on flamingo. So you're relaxed, load, stride, and go through your normal swing. On the last one, tap back, these are all really similar, but the whole focus is really getting your weight loaded into your back side. So again, this is more natural, and if you're thinking of loading, some of you might do this in your normal swing where you add like a little tap back before you stride. But on this drill specifically, you'll just be in your stance, tap, and go just like normal. Are there any questions on those drills as a whole?
Maybe they're typing, maybe they're
Maybe
not.
they're not. I'll just imagine some elevator music in the background. One thing I will say too, while the questions maybe come in, please avoid starting in a loaded position, because again, that movement and that weight transfer is really important to create the smooth flow and rhythm of your swing. So I see a lot of hitters come in and they're already doing some of this. So if you can just come in nice and relaxed on your stance, get that rhythm, and then the load, that'll be a lot more beneficial.
You got a cool dance compliment?
Shout out to my brother who taught this to me. Any other ones?
Did you say flaming because of your bright shoes?
You betcha. But we'll wait a few more seconds for some questions. Tomorrow, we're going 3 and 4. We're getting really saucy with 2 things because they kind of work together. Don't forget, Coach Kellen and the crew coming back at you at 1 p.m., but it looks like we got a question.
Can you just repeat the names of the drills?
Yes, number 1, flaming or flamingo, your choice. Jump back, number 2. And number 3 is tap back. All right, friends, thanks for coming.